Would you know, it's been a year since I got this bike. Look at this. Man, 1 year, a little over 6,000 miles. We'll see here in a second when I turn it on. What a fun year it's been with this bike. So I think, I'm no expert at all, but I've ridden this for a year. I've done a lot of different things with it. Track days, touring. I've been on some like dirt gravel roads with it. I've been on all sorts of weather. All year long I rode it, so all throughout all the seasons. So I think I can talk about it, my experience with this bike. So we're actually going to take a little ride to the dealership where I bought it. And we'll talk about this on the way over there. Let's get it started up and let's go. I always enjoy starting this up. So 6,310 miles in a year. And I did do... Woo-hoo-hoo. God, I always love that. That never gets old. Of those 6,000 miles, 1,100-ish was a road trip down to California. It was like a 3-day trip, 1,000 miles, a lot of fun. We'll let the bike get warmed up here and head down to Moto Corsa. Let's go, we're warm enough. All right. My neighbors probably love me. Man, what a beautiful day it is today. I thought it was supposed to rain. I swore it was on the forecast, but Moto Corsa decided to throw a little breakfast on this morning, last minute it looks like. So I thought I'd head down and just chat about the Panigale V2 2024. So October 29th, a year ago, I had an MT10 that I had bought back in May. So I found this Ducati club, and then I went to a couple meetups, a couple group rides, and I have always wanted a Ducati. All right, a Panigale has always been something that I've dreamed of having. And I didn't actually know Moto Corsa existed. So obviously after finding the club, I found out about the dealership. And then after a few months, I decided to go into the dealership, trade the MT10 in for this beautiful beast. Yeah, a lot of fun. So I trade the MT10 in for this, and man, I've ridden a few different bikes. I've had a Honda CBR 1000 RR. I've had a Ninja 300. I've had an MT07. I've had an MT10. Great bikes, all of them. Great bikes. But this bike, holy cow. Just from the moment I got on it, it was just instant, like, wow, okay, this is different. You can tell right away. Quick shifter, smooth as butter. Everything about the bike just, absolutely joy to ride. Now, I'm a sport bikes. So that's why I went for the Panigale. You know, obviously, if you're looking for a comfortable bike that you can chill, ride, commute on, all that shit, this isn't the bike for you. For me, I got this for fun rides, track days, and, you know, go to meetups and hang out with people and obviously show off the bike. It's a beautiful fucking bike. And it does all of the things for me. Now, when it comes to one of the biggest things people complain about Ducati is the price. Money, money, money. It's so expensive, so expensive. Yeah, they're expensive, but what you're getting your money's worth, right? It doesn't have this price tag on it for nothing. So if you're somebody that just wants a bike, you're gonna just be off on your own. You don't care about, you know, having a very like cool community and a welcoming dealership, and just like there's a lot of these perks that come along to having a Ducati. So it's not just the bike itself, it's like a lifestyle that I don't know if some of these other brands have. Now, I've done, let's see, seven track days on this, and I unfortunately don't have another bike to compare the experience with. This is the only bike I've ever ridden on the track. But wow, yeah, this bike on the track is such an amazing machine. It has, I couldn't imagine having any more power than the V2 either. Like a V4 on the track, holy shit, my goodness. This bike has so much power to just go down the straights. It's also nice and nimble through the corners. Not as nimble as the new V2, but its power comparison is insane. Just 1-to-1, this V2 versus the brand new V2 is insane. The difference that you see going down a major straightaway, and even kind of coming out of corners as well. Like you just see this bike has a little bit more takeoff. But this definitely is a bike that's made for the track, right? Like right now, I'm sitting here in traffic. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like, you know, it wants to go. It really just, that's what this bike was made for. It's a free spirit, wild, but it's not terrible. So if you want something that is easy to commute on, don't get this bike. You know, don't get something that you want to be able to just chill and go slow with. This bike really wants to just take off. You'll just have a bad time. But if you're trying to take this out, backcountry roads, track days, this is what this bike is made for. Man. And I will say, the stock exhaust is not terrible. It really isn't. When it comes to stock bikes, the stock exhaust is pretty good. But when you see the bike and you know what it should sound like, it's hard not to put aftermarket exhaust on. Now let's get into long rides, and I'm talking like, you know, five plus hours. I think we did like 7 hours in our longest stretch. You know, we're taking gas breaks and a food break and stuff like that, but this bike is completely doable to do rides like that. Is it going to be super comfortable? No. You're gonna move around a lot on the bike. You're gonna find different ways to try to get lazy, but it's doable. And for me, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun, and it wasn't until like the very end where I was kind of just like, all right, my shoulders and my back really wasn't an issue, but it was my shoulders because I was wearing a backpack. So, you know, you take off the backpack, might not have even been as bad. So, there's ways I could put storage on the bike, but I didn't want to do that. I was just gonna do a backpack, and that's what I did. So, a little traffic into the Dutch Bros here. This is where I got the bike. Moto Corsa, Ducati dealership. Actually, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go park down where they are. There he is, the master chef, Cat himself. Yeah, we'll talk about more of the bike here after I eat some breakfast. Well, that was a nice little breakfast. Thank you to Cat. Had a little chorizo, egg and cheese burrito. It was quite delicious. Now, back onto the road and back onto the bike. All right. Let's get out of here. Man, it really turned into a nice day today. So I think we talked about some things, long rides, track days, that kind of stuff. But weather, I've ridden it for a full year, all year. So I've been in the rain, the hail. Shit, one time I accidentally rode it in the snow. That was wild. I do not recommend, but doable if you're careful. You know, cold weather, hot weather, I've been in it all. The bike is very enjoyable to ride on like a nice mid 70 degree day with a light breeze. That's probably the optimal weather. You know, if you can handle, you know, being wet, you can ride this in the rain. If you can handle being cold, I mean, you can ride this in the dead of winter. I will say, you know, Ducati runs warm, so that engine keeps you nice and toasty in the winter. I will say that. Ha. At the end of the day, there's a lot of bikes and there's a lot of good bikes. You know, so you get what you like. And these new bikes, man, they're so good. They're so smart. If you are a responsible person, and ride within your means. All of these bikes are great. Just know when it comes to things like little bolts and screws and fairings and all that sort of stuff, if you want to get the true Ducati parts, that shit is expensive, alright? So just keep that in mind. But you can always buy non-factory Ducati stuff if you're okay with that. And it's a lot cheaper. You know, but out of all the bikes that I've personally ever ridden, this is by far the most amazing bike. It just does everything that I want it to do. And I'm okay to sacrifice a little bit of comfortability for certain looks and other aspects of the bike. So those are things you just always have to take into consideration when you're looking for your own bike. Also, as far as like the regular services go and everything, this hasn't been expensive. This has been like on par, same cost for me getting my other bike serviced. So there is, when it comes to just like service cost itself, it's the same. You know, I know a lot of people worry about like certain valve changes and whatnot. I know that some of the older Ducatis have a little bit more maintenance issues, but this generation is a lot more reliable from what I've seen. Also from my own personal experience. God, I love that sound. Every time, that rumble never gets old to me. So yeah, pretty much couldn't recommend this bike enough for somebody with similar interests as mine. I think you will really enjoy yourself with one of these. Well, that's about all I can think about. I'll make more. I'll add if I come up with anything else that I forgot about. But yeah, 1 year with this gorgeous machine. Gosh, 1 year. Just take a look at this. I mean, that's another thing. I've had it for a year, and I just still cannot get over it. I still like stare at it in the garage. Gorgeous bike. But yeah, that's it.